The Trump administration has labelled Pakistan, China, Saudi Arabia and 7 others as countries of particular concern for having engaged in or tolerated systematic violation of religious freedom. Pakistan, however, has outrightly rejected the U.S. State Department's pronouncements. In an official release, the Secretary of State of the U.S., Mike Pompeo, said, and I'm quoting, "On November 28th, I designated Burma, Myanmar, China, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan as countries of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act for having engaged in or tolerated systematic, ongoing and egregious violations of religious freedom." But Pakistan was quick to respond and released a statement from which I'm quoting now. Pakistan is a multi-religious and pluralistic society where people of diverse faiths and denominations live together. Around 4% of our total population comprises citizens belonging to Christian, Hindu, Buddhist and Sikh faiths, ensuring equal treatment of minorities and their enjoyment of human rights without any discrimination is the cardinal principle of the Constitution of Pakistan. That's the defense that came in from the leadership there. The U.S. State Department also designated the Al-Nusra Front, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, ISIS, Khorasan and the Taliban as entities of particular concern, observing that in far too many places across the globe, individuals continue to face harassment, arrests or even death for simply living their lives in accordance with their beliefs. Pompeo asserted that the U.S. will not stand by as spectators in the face of such oppression. He said that it was the top priority of the Trump administration to protect and promote international religious freedom. Pompeo said the safeguarding of religious freedom is vital to ensuring peace, stability and prosperity. But the issue is far more serious. Religious minorities are faced with discrimination regularly in Pakistan. At the time of partition, religious minorities constituted over 20% of Pakistan's population, but the number of religious minorities has now dropped to 3% as of today. That's in the last 71 years. And those religious minorities who have braved their circumstances and escaped persecution in the country have limited freedom to practice their religion. Let's get in the perspectives from a senior journalist, Ray Locker, joining us from Washington. The U.S. has been categorical in that report, Ray Locker. Mike Pompeo has lambasted Pakistan when it comes to religious freedom violations. But the statement, the defense coming in from Pakistan tells us that it will take a long while for religious minorities to feel safe in the country.
Oh, it'll take decades. I mean, obviously, this is a problem that's 71 years in the making since partition. You laid out the statistics very clearly. I mean, 20% religious minorities in 1947, down to 3% now. So religious minorities in Pakistan have not found that country to be a congenial place to be. And that's something that was picked up on in this latest report. And this is a change from last year where Pakistan was kind of one step below, now has been elevated to, you know, the ranks of Saudi Arabia and China as a place that's not conducive to religious freedom.
Indeed. What does this really also tell you about the relationship between U.S. President Donald Trump and Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan? There have been several low points, but this is another embarrassment coming in for Pakistan from the U.S., which is already under tremendous global pressure in the light of course, facing action from the global terror financing watchdog FATF as well.
Absolutely. Look, this is one of the few things that the Trump administration has been very consistent on. They have steadily ratcheted up the pressure on Pakistan with the religious freedom announcement, with steps on military aid, other foreign policy initiatives. We continue to engage Pakistan as a country. It's vital to U.S. interests in that region, but clearly the Trump administration has lost patience with Pakistan, as have many other previous administrations, but this is the most consistent action we've seen in the last few years.
But in terms of the global standing for Pakistan as well, is this a worrying time, and is this high time that the administration there at least responds to that pressure?
Well, obviously, being in the leadership in Pakistan is a tough place to be. It has been for years. You're trying to balance the strong, Islamist influence in the country with protecting religious freedoms for minorities, and the religious minorities will often come out on the losing end. But we've seen examples like in the Asia Bibi case, where she was released from prison and there was a backlash against that. Pakistan is trying to play it both ways, and it's having a very difficult time. And I don't know if whatever they do will be met with, widespread international approval.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Ray Locker, appreciate as always for joining us on the broadcast this evening. Moving on to the UK for now. British Prime Minister Theresa May is facing her biggest challenge yet. Lawmakers from within her own party have challenged her leadership. May has answered questions in the British Parliament where she insisted that the only way to have a Brexit deal is to first agree to a deal. May has also warned that a leadership change at this time will risk Britain's future. Remember, the Brexit deadline is less than 4 months away, and a possible change of leadership could further complicate the process of Britain's exit from the European Union.
The right honourable gentleman talks about the impact on businesses. I'll tell you what Strasbourg last night. The way to ensure there is no deal is to agree a deal. That's the way you ensure there's no deal. The right honourable gentleman talks about the impact on businesses. I'll tell him what will have an impact on businesses up and down this country. What we learnt just a few days ago, that the Shadow Chancellor wants to change the law so that businesses will be affected by the fact that the Shadow Chancellor wants to change the law so that trade unions in this country can go on strike in solidarity with any strike anywhere in the world.
Earlier, the British Foreign Minister had backed Theresa May on the Brexit deal. He said, and I'm quoting, "I'm backing Prime Minister Theresa May tonight. Being PM is the most difficult job imaginable right now, and the last thing the country needs is a damaging and long leadership contest. Brexit was never going to be easy, but she is the best person to make sure we actually leave the EU on March 29. Let's get in further details from our correspondent Catherine Drew joining us from London. There's, of course, been a lot of lobbying that's been going on part of Theresa May, Catherine, to ensure that the next few hours go in her favour. But is Theresa May... is there someone better than Theresa May in this crucial scenario to actually take the Brexit deal forward?
Well, that's a very difficult question, and that's what the Conservative MPs will be addressing tonight. Now, current estimates put the number of MPs who have come out and supported Theresa May at between 158 and 174. Those are the estimates. Those are the MPs that have come out and said they will vote for Theresa May. So that takes her above that crucial threshold. She needs to win a simple majority. So half of her party plus one. So she actually needs 158 votes. But let's not forget that what MPs sometimes do, what lawmakers sometimes do and say in public isn't necessarily what they do and follow through on when they're taking part in a ballot, which of course will be anonymous. So we will have to wait for the results, and that will come around 9 o'clock in the evening UK time. But certainly this hard wing of her party, those Brexiteers who want to see the UK break away from Europe, perhaps without even a deal, without even a future trade deal, which many economists will say will cause chaos for the economy. That group had been hoping to oust her. At the moment, it's looking like they won't, but we'll have to wait to see.
So if that Brexit deal would mean chaos, Catherine, no Prime Minister or a change of guard at this time would also mean further chaos and uncertainty for Britain.
Oh, yes, definitely. And many of the MPs who've come out to support Theresa May say that they don't necessarily like her Brexit deal, and it's part of the Brexit deal which is so contentious, but that they feel and that they're hearing from their constituents that a leadership contest at this time would be extremely unwise. Obviously, as you mentioned before, we have a March 29th deadline. That's not really enough time to get the legislation that is needed through. So if you throw in a leadership contest in that. Even if it was expedited, a new leader would only be on board in mid-January. So all that makes things very tight. And as Theresa May came out in Downing Street this morning and said that would mean that the new leader would have to put that Article 50 either on hold or to revoke it altogether. And of course, this is one of the cards that she must play. We do have a time limit, and that in some ways works in Theresa May's favour. We're running out of time, and she knows that. And some people think that she is sort of playing the clock so that MPs don't have much of a choice and will eventually vote for her deal when they're staring that no-deal scenario in the face.
All right, Catherine Drew, thanks very much for joining us. Would you like to take a crash course to become Santa Claus this Christmas? We take you to Brazil now, where trainees take classes to become the perfect Santa Claus, merry and most importantly, sensitive to children by learning how to not touch them inappropriately.
This is a workshop for Brazilian Santas where the trainees learn how to make Christmas not just a happier but also a safer holiday for children. Trainees at this free Santa crash course have been taking the intensive course every year since 1976 by actor Silvio Ribeiro.
The greatest happiness is really seeing the smile on the face of the child, the adults and the elderly. This is very important, very rewarding, because we are sure that we are doing the right thing in the right place. This is the detail that I care about on my course, because Santa is all about love, sympathy and joy.
But being Santa Claus isn't just a holiday job. It doesn't just mean being merry. It also comes with a huge responsibility of ensuring that children feel safe. After one of his students was accused of pedophilia, Ribeiro takes classes with the trainee Santas on handling children with sensitivity and care, apart from teaching makeup and other Santa skills. Ribeiro uses a doll to explain how only female assistants could fix a little girl's dress or put them in Santa's lap, and kissing kids is an absolute no-no, and only kids are allowed to initiate, not the other way around. Once thoroughly trained, these Santas can earn up to $150 for doing 5-hour shifts at malls, stores and other holiday season parties. Bureau Report, WION World is One.